If you scroll through travel feeds long enough, the algorithm will eventually serve you a terrifying vertical drop labeled something like the stairs of death. Viral media thrives on these extremes. It frames these ascents as pure tests of human courage, stripping away the context of the actual mechanical dangers involved. Survival in these environments depends on logistical competence, self-assessment, and rigorous preparation. To understand what that actually looks like on the ground, we are going to strip the internet mythology away from 5 of the world's most notorious trails. This scatter plot measures our 5 locations, charting viral notoriety against actual unmitigated risk. Notice the dispersion. Highly viral trails often have lower risk due to modern safety infrastructure. Meanwhile, lesser-known ancient ruins sit higher. They are objectively deadlier. Attempting any of these routes without understanding the specific environmental demands of the terrain lead to lethal consequences. When hikers lose their lives on these paths, it happens because of a fatal mismatch between their perceived physical competence and the geographical reality of the mountain. We start with climbs defined by high psychological exposure, like Mount Huashan in China. These are 700-year-old Taoist routes carved into bare rock. At their extremes, you navigate wooden planks barely 30 centimeters wide, pinned directly to sheer cliffs with drops exceeding 100 meters. Completing this requires absolute mechanical reliance. You must use tethered harnesses and carabiners clipped to fixed iron chains drilled into the mountain. The primary trade-off here is human traffic. Extreme crowd density on these single-file paths often forces climbers into dangerous, untethered maneuvers just to pass each other. Spain's Caminito del Rey serves as a modernized, highly regulated counterpart to Huashan. Following heavy steel and concrete upgrades in 2015, the physical path is stable, yet the visual exposure, staring straight down 100 meters into a gorge, remains terrifying to the human brain. On Category 1 climbs, the true danger is rarely a hardware failure. The threat is psychological paralysis. Your brain struggles to process the extreme visual height, triggering panic that can freeze you entirely on a narrow ledge. Our second category features unmitigated environmental hazards. India's Kalawantan Durg, built over 500 years ago, perfectly illustrates this profile. The route demands climbing roughly cut 80-degree vertical stone steps that are in many places barely a foot wide. There is zero modern intervention here. You won't find handrails, safety nets, or fixed cables to clip into. You see a similar reality in Peru's Stairs of Death, a high-altitude stone pathway originally built for ancient Incan mountain transit. Hikers seek out these unmitigated routes because they offer a completely raw, historically authentic physical experience. But the logistical trade-off is massive. Without safety rails or modern hardware, your survival is directly tied to meteorological stability. A sudden monsoon rain or a high-altitude wind gust instantly transforms porous ancient stone into a frictionless vertical trap. On unmitigated historical structures, the weather is your only safety infrastructure. Attempting these climbs outside of strict dry seasons is a statistically unjustifiable risk. The final category is the endurance trap, embodied by the half-dome cable route in Yosemite. The visual reality of this climb is a 45 to 50-degree vertical haul up a slick granite face, relying entirely on dual steel cables. Before you even touch the cables, you face significant logistical friction. You have to secure a restricted permit through a lottery, followed by a grueling 16-kilometer base hike just to reach the granite. The final 400-foot ascent demands immense upper body strength to actively pull your own body weight up the rock. This 3D model shows the hidden hazard. Heavy traffic jams on the cables force climbers to hold their body weight stationary on the incline. This physical strain drastically accelerates muscle failure, draining your energy gauge before reaching the summit. Half Dome's trap is entirely biological. The steepest, most demanding obstacle is placed at the exact moment a hiker's muscular endurance is completely depleted. Danger is highly relative. Surviving these locations requires you to actively match your personal risk profile to the environment. We can use the extreme exposure matrix to vet these locations. The first filter is technical capability.
If you are willing to use harnesses and tolerate extreme drops, you route toward Mount Huashan or Caminito del Rey. The second filter checks your physiological stamina. If you are capable of heavy endurance hikes immediately preceding a vertical climb, Half Dome is a match. The third filter is weather timing. Seeking out unmitigated ruins is only an acceptable option if you travel strictly during local dry seasons. If you are a prepared trekker, optimize your trip by focusing entirely on timing. Your goal is winning the permit lottery or hitting the perfect dry weather window. For an aspirational tourist drawn by viral photography but lacking technical skill, Caminito del Rey is the best choice due to its modernized safety rails. But regardless of the route, every hiker faces the same fatal flaw: the sunk cost fallacy. The highest mortality rates belong to those who refuse to abandon a climb after spending significant money and time, even when the weather turns or exhaustion sets in. Choosing to turn around represents elite decision-making. Success requires the objective discipline